this podcast where you gain precious tips for easily igniting your full spectrum wealthy life. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific with your friends and family because we all want and deserve to be wealthy and happy. And this podcast is powered by Anchor FM by Spotify. Anchor FM is this super awesome free podcast platform that allow you to create any podcast very easily. And so for this week, we have Pratibha Day. Miss Pratibha
Hi.
Day, so honored to have you here. Please share what is it that what you do.
Yeah. So I have my own brand called Chai Together, and I share mental health journeys, resources for your mental health and well being. And I have to say, I love your voice and your hair. It's always perfect. I like it.
Thank, thank you so much. That's thank you. And funny that you says that, and talking about mental health, that you love my voice. I grew up being told a stiff, clumsy, stupid, ugly duckling with awful voice. And
Hmm.
so, talking about the mental health that it got, or like, or probably the opposite of mental health it created, right? But
Hmm.
what is it that not everybody, most kids don't grew up saying I'm gonna be doing mental health journey. So what brought you into this mental health work?
Hmm. So what really catapulted me was my a traumatic event that took place in 2020, early 2020, before the pandemic, and I had a really big loss, personal loss, and also my mom who has somatoform disorder, which is a health anxiety disorder that basically paralyzes a person's mind to think that there's physical diagnoses that they have which aren't there. It's more so of like hallucinations and delusions, and having that happen and her also being diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia led me to start Try Together and share what it is to be a caregiver, what schizophrenia is, what she goes through, and what those symptoms looks like. And then I started having people on the show and for them to share their own mental health journeys. Yeah.
Oh wow, that is so wonderful that you do that. I know I'm very honored to have been on your show before, and it's a fun
Thanks.
one. So everybody got to go check it out, and so thank you so much. So do you have a lot of time when people talk about mental health? The
Mhm.
first thing many times for many people, and back in the day with my own journey as well, we feel hesitant.
Mhm.
It's kind of like almost people comfortable talking about their broken leg a whole lot more
Mhm.
than their broken mind, so to say. And
Yeah.
so do you have any tip on for people who's facing challenges,
Mhm.
and they're kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to be labeled crazy, I don't want to be labeled
Mhm.
a loser, or what have you. Do you have any tip for that?
Mhm. So the first thing is, so I feel like it's a natural process. I feel like it's a journey everyone has to go through because each experience in your life is leading you to the next step. So I feel like you have to be in a place where you don't care about what others have to say. You have to be in a place where you're just tired of being tired, and you have to be in a place where you need to liberate yourself, that you're ready to tell your truth. If you're not ready for those things and you're not ready to face the world, and this doesn't mean that you won't have any fear doing it. You may still feel fearful, but you do it anyway. It's kind of like feeling the fear and fighting through it. So for me, that's what had to take place, to where I was just in a spot where I felt I could no longer go on and hold this burden within inside of me. I need a community. I need to connect with other people, that I can't do this alone. And having that voice and having that power to say that, that's courage. Chai, courage, hope, and imagination. It took for me to know myself and know that I need to make a change in my life to be the change. And I feel like anyone who's in a place that can get to a place of that courage, then you can really start to see a difference in your life.
Oh, wonderful. That's really awesome. So do you have,
Mhm.
talking about courage, we a lot of time, whether it is in mental health or other things,
Mhm.
man, we all a lot of time can benefit from having more courage, right? And
Mhm.
so do you have one or two tips for us to be
Mhm.
more courageous, whether it's in mental health or
Mm.
something else? Is that's whatever the endeavor. It could be
Mhm.
work, it could be relationship. A tip or
Yeah.
two, so for someone to be more courageous.
Mhm. So I feel like courage, like you said, it can be, expanded over multiple things. But I feel like to have courage, you have to step out of your comfort zone, do something new, maybe trying something new. If you're afraid of heights, right? You go skydiving. And one actual fact that I learned from someone who, for tandem, who's my teacher for tandem skydiving years ago, he had said that his nephew was actually afraid of heights, but once he got up there and he fell downwards, he realized that he was never afraid of heights. He was just afraid of the visual that he saw that looks like you're afraid of heights. So having courage to do something that you never done before. And this is a big one for me, having the courage to stand up for yourself, having the courage to voice yourself, right? And this is just a sublet under, standing up for yourself, having the courage to tell your truth. All these things have to do with your voice and you having those boundaries, asserting yourself in front of other people, whether that's at work, home, your relationship of any kind. And so that's what it would take, is for you to do something different if you want to see something different.
Right, that is so awesome. It's funny that you mentioned skydiving. I used to be so afraid of height. I would not even go on a ladder. Never
Wow.
mind, like whatever. I would not go. Like I will be okay. I would have been okay back in the day to go on a step stool, but not
Hmm.
on a ladder. And
Wow.
actually, skydiving did not fix that. I've done skydiving multiple times, and it was one of those things like when you're above the cloud, and
Hmm.
maybe because of the altitude, I picked higher altitude. You're kind of above the cloud, and you're like lost concept. What fixed me? Then if
Hmm.
anybody here done skydiving is still afraid of height, or you just want to try something different, right? Talking about something new was to actually to do trapeze.
Ooh.
Those trapeze. The difference between the two is skydiving. You go on a plane and then you attach to this and all these things. To do trapeze, oh my goodness, you got to climb 3-story high ladder
Mm.
straight up like that. And I mean, yes, you have the only thing you have is literally it's a harness around your belt and around your waist, attached to some kind of strap that's not even that thick. And then
Mm.
this ladder going up in seemingly like in the middle of the air because it's the ladder attached to the platform. So it's a
Wow.
sturdy ladder, but it's attached to the platform. There's nothing around you. Like
Wow.
ladder in the middle of the air. And I was like, oh my God. It was for a friend's birthday.
And
She
then.
came to she came a friend's birthday. She came to me
Mhm.
for my skydiving for my birthday. So I got to go to her for this. I was like, what did you even breaking things?
I love it.
It fixed my fear of height like no tomorrow.
Wow.
I was like, boom. So
Congratulations.
thank you. But that's something. So what about people though that says,
Mm.
you know, I want to be courageous. I want to speak up. I really
Mhm.
do. But
Mhm.
I worry, what if I speak up and then I lost all my friends? What if
Mm.
I speak up and then people at work start hating me?
Mm.
Maybe it's in affecting my ability to work. What if I speak up and then people just, particularly if you speak up on like social media, then everybody
Mhm.
will laugh at you. But what about those? I mean,
Mhm.
what would you recommend? Because it can be scary to speak up. What if I
Mhm.
speak up and then my boyfriend or girlfriend or my kid or my parents say shut me down and don't want to deal with me anymore.
Mhm. This is interesting. I actually spoke up after my friends, I outgrew my friends, or they had left my side through those low times. So for me, it was opposite. But when I started Try Together, I did have a few negative comments about the video I was doing, like my abortion poem video, that, to not speak up, it's too shameful. Me as a woman sharing that, and the South Asian culture is not accepted. And I had a coach by my side, and I contacted him because I was having anxiety, seeing the comments. Reading it early morning is not healthy to do that. So when I read that, I knew I shouldn't have read that paragraph. And I was feeling anxious, felt fearful. And, my coach at the time told me to don't let anyone stop me and to block them. And that's what I did. And I kept making more videos. If I had allowed that comment to stop me, to have me freeze, right? Not get past that terror barrier, which Bob Proctor's program talks about, then I wouldn't have Chai Together grow as a community as it is today, because that was early on, like my first week of videos. So that was an example of, feeling the fear, doing it anyway. And I would say for people who are so concerned about, what someone else is going to say, I would say for that, you have to first work on yourself. You have to work on your own spirituality to know that you're not going to be attached to the results. We don't know what's next, but if you don't try and you don't share, you don't know whether it can go right or it can go left. The whole point of someone sharing their truth is either it's more so liberation for yourself, but it's also to help other people. Sharing your truth, it may lead to, consequences that are out of your control, but our message as human beings, I believe, is to share who we are. Whether that's received well or not is not upon us, it's upon the rest of, the humanity. But our whole message is to share who we are, and that's how we can be, ethically and morally aligned with ourselves.
Is beautiful, and that's wonderful. Yeah, I love when you said that you gave an example that you early on, and usually that it's happened early on when we still have a lot
Yeah.
of doubts, a lot of doubts in ourselves. Like you said, you have a
Yeah.
lot of doubts in yourself, and you kind of like almost like attracting those who
Yeah.
doubts you. And once you power through the terror, then you kind of like, okay, you step into that. And do you see that? Do you see like, for some people say, yeah, it's all good theory, but I really only care about the physical result. I mean, I I'll live being anxious, but as long as I have the physical result. Do you see having kind of like make friend with yourself, so to say,
Mhm.
but it's from what I'm hearing, do you see having a better emotional well-being contribute to having better physical well-being? And if you do, is there some
Mhm.
example for that?
Mhm. So you're asking me if, being friends with yourself, being good within will result to having good physical results as well. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
like on the, yeah, in the physical world, the material world.
Material world. Yes. I do believe so. I believe so because of my own journey as a primary example. When I first started out, I didn't have self-esteem. I never made a video. Les Brown's program gave me the confidence to do that. I did not believe in myself more so, and I never had told my story before. So after I did those things, then I learned how to assert myself properly, my boundaries, to speak up and say, hey, I appreciate this, but I rather have you not speak to me this way. This is inappropriate for me. Or whenever to have that communication boundary, to know when something's not okay with you and address it right then and there. So that pattern moving forward has led me to grow and to share in a proper way, and that resulted to how I attract the job that I want now. So now I'll be working with domestic violence prevention for the male population as a treatment specialist for a nonprofit. So I align myself to that, asserting myself to what I want. I align myself to the friendships that I have now. They're healthier friendships, that serve me well emotionally, spiritually, whether it be financial, help that your friends can do at times. And this doesn't mean that everyone's going to cover all of those categories, right? Not everyone can. But who are the 10 people? I learned this from a spiritual coach. Who are the 10 people in your life that when you make a list, you write down the 10 people who serve you emotionally, physically, or spiritually, right? Or financially, that you would do for, and they would do the same for you. So write down those 10 people that you believe that how much you do for them, they would be reciprocating to you. And this is how the inside becomes the outside, when you learn to see who's in your environment, who's in your inner circle, and who's there for you, and if you feel safe, supported, and cared for.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that so it is something that always everything from, like you said, from insides it's
Mhm.
created to the outside. Because I have known people who says, well, yeah, that's all great, and forgiveness or what have you. Those are fine if you want to be a saint, and I don't want to be a saint, so why do I care? And it's always an interesting thing because it's actually influence your physical result, your
Mhm.
inside influence physical result. So I know you have tied together. Can you share
Mhm.
more about what you do to help
Mhm.
people?
Mhm. So I help people by talking to them. Basically, that's what I do, providing them resources and guidance, more so of mentorship. So I don't have my clinical training yet. However, I am suicide prevention trained and trauma trained to support others and to know the signs and symptoms of what they may be experiencing. And like I said, I'm working in domestic violence prevention at this time. And also, I also work for Notia Point in supporting mental health support for cybersecurity professionals online. And that's some of the things I'm doing, along with keep pursuing my studies and programs to nourish my mind and my spirit and take good care of myself, along with Tai Chi is a new practice I picked up, and I do hot yoga as well. And that
Wow.
really keeps me maintained, along with clinical breath work and hypnotherapy and Reiki. So I really have the well-rounded support, along with need basis family counseling and things of that sort. So I always make sure to take care of myself first, so then I can serve others. And it should never be the opposite way, because you're going to get burnt out. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Well, and also you have from it start at certain time point, but you also
Mhm.
have these group classes, if I recall correctly. I remember you
Mhm.
sharing about the classes, right?
Yeah,
So
thanks. So I had started my class, more than a writing activity, and I was doing the class interpersonally instead of group. I feel like interpersonal one to one, which is what I studied in undergrad, was interpersonal communication, meaning small group communication, such as Dr. Tan and I are doing here in this interview. So if you need support, I still do have that class available, and you can reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn, Pratiba Day, or on my YouTube channel, Chai Together, or Try Together Community. So anywhere where you can find me on here on Facebook, you can reach out, let me know you want to do the class, and then we can talk and see if it's a good fit for you and move forward. So yeah, thanks for letting me share
okay.
that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So they can reach you on LinkedIn, you said, on Facebook, and
Try
is it
Together on YouTube. Yeah.
tied together on YouTube?
And
Super. So
Instagram.
and what? I'm
Instagram.
sorry.
Try Together.
In, and the tied together as well. Okay,
Mhm.
super duper. That's really awesome. CA, thank you so much for
Oh, thank
sharing all
you.
this wisdom for today.
Mhm.
Do you have any one final message for all of us on being able to have a better mental and
Mhm.
emotional well-being?
Mhm. One thing I want to say, I see your book is here. So thank you for gifting me the book, and I enjoyed reading some of it. I still have to, the thing about books is I read what you need at the time. Sometimes not all books are meant to be read all at once. So the message that I have would be today is to check out QPR Institute. And this isn't an affiliate or anything. This is for suicide prevention. You can take courses on there and be a gatekeeper. A gatekeeper is anyone in society, whether it's a family member or a boss or anyone who has those skills to help someone if they're suicidal, whether that be youth or an adult. So you can go on there. It's a very affordable course, like $20, and you can get that certification and learn the steps and resources on how you can help other people who may be suicidal, and how to check for someone who may be suicidal, especially in these times of COVID. So that's one thing I want to recommend is qprinstitute.com. And I want to say that I always say this, and I want to say that never take your life because of someone else's harmful projections on your body and your mind and your spirit. So don't kill yourself because of what someone else has done to you, because of what happened to you. You have to move forward with that with resiliency and learn how to grow from it, and now become a healer and help other people. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, that is a beautiful message, and that's very true. A lot of time we feel so depressed
Mhm.
of all the things that happening outside and what people say toward us. One of the time that I almost took my own life is actually back in the day,
Mhm.
talking about that, when I was told by my advisors, my academic advisors
Mhm.
in medical school, that I was too stupid to become a doctor. And it's like it's the person's opinion and whatever that's going on in their head.
And they were wrong, Dr. Tan.
Right. Yeah. And so don't let, like you said, Pratibha, don't let other
Mhm.
people, media, or what have you,
Mhm.
opinion make you feel so depressed or discouraged that you take your life, or even allowing you to be depressed, really. And
Mhm.
so thank
Joyful
you.
riches.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pratibha. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you. I
your
had fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your tips today. And for you, my friends who are listening to this, please share one or two gold nuggets in the comment so we can continue learning from each other. And thank you for joining us. Please share this podcast with your friends and family so they too can triumph. And this is Dr. Birgit Tan, your grief transformation specialist for individuals and company, and USA country chair for G100 Global Networking All Ladies Leagues. And my friend, make it a thriving day, and we will see you again next week, next Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, same site. See you then.